Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with an eyeshadow tag. This is a single eyeshadow tag created by A Makeup Journey, or Cassie, over on Instagram. I love her content. She does some really unique single eyeshadow content, some really unique kind of ideas for build your own palettes, and she shares a lot of nice kind of inspiring content overall. I also love that she's from the UK just like me, and I will have her linked down below. So basically this tag consists of 10 different questions, and for each question you pick up a single eyeshadow, which I have put in this palette. So I have actually cheated. This one prompt, or like one question, that I have picked 2 eyeshadows, but I will cover that when I get to it. But other than that, I'm just going to jump into the palette. So before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So this is my palette right here, and I think it's so pretty. I just love how this looks. Obviously some of these questions necessarily aren't my favorite things, because that's where they're in. I will talk about them when I get to them, but in overall I just love my indie eyeshadows, and I think this kind of all shimmer palettes look absolutely stunning. But I'm going to go through each shade in order of the questions or the prompts, and I'm just going to talk through them. So let's start with this eyeshadow right here. And the first question for this eyeshadow right here is your current favorite single shadow. And for that I chose this eyeshadow right here from Terra Moons. This is a beautiful eyeshadow. It is called Starburst. I absolutely love this eyeshadow. I played around with this one a lot, as well as the dupe of this one that I have in my collection, which is I think Starlight from the Pastel Roses, and I love them both, but I do love this formula better. So this one has like a kind of pinky purpley kind of base, and then it has loads of sparkles in it. It goes from like a cool tone to almost like a warm tone in it too. I absolutely love it. It has like some green glitters to it, some really beautiful tones, and I just think this is absolutely stunning. I think it's very versatile. You can use it as a topper shade, or you can use it all over your lid, and overall I just think it is an absolutely stunning eyeshadow, and that is why I chose this one for my current favorite. Next to that we have this eyeshadow right here, which is an absolutely stunning shadow again. This one is for the question, your previous favorite single shadows. This was my favorite before I discovered Terra Moon's Starburst. This one comes from Cleona, and it is the shade Royalty. It is one of their vibrant multichromes. The reason why I love this is I actually fell in love with this one wearing it on my birthday. It was actually not last year but the year before, so I loved this one for a long time. But I wore this and I saw myself in the bathroom lighting, and I saw this beautiful kind of green shift. I think you can pick it up hopefully a little bit on camera. But overall this is just such a stunning eyeshadow. It has like a grape kind of purple base, and it has so many different shifts in it. It shifts like a peach to a gold to a green, and a lot in between. I think it's so beautiful because it is a purple, but it's very much like a warm tone purple, which I like, and I do love that really green shift in it. And yeah, it's a favorite of mine, and that is my second eyeshadow. For the third eyeshadow, I rolled in this beauty right here. This is such a shifty one. You can see the shifts already there just in the pan. This one I rolled in for favorite one and done single, and I rolled in my Cleona eyeshadow again. It's gonna be a lot of Cleona, as you can see in the beginning. And this is the shade Vermilion, which is one of the deep iridescent multichromes. I love this as a one and done because it's very kind of effortless looking. It can kind of look quite natural, but also very shifty and very impactful. The shift in this one is very strong. It goes from this, like the main shift is this really hot fuchsia kind of shadow, and then it goes into like a kind of orange, gold, and then green at the very end, and I think it's so stunning. It's a very, I guess not that unique to be honest, but I think the shift is just so prominent in this one, and it does have like a tan base as well, which gives it a bit more dimension. And I think this one is beautiful just all over the lid, and like especially like a summer look, and it's one that I don't mind having as a one kind of single shadow look, because a lot of times with those traditional one and done kind of eyeshadows, they are a bit underwhelming to me. But with the shift in this one, I just think it's absolutely perfect as that kind of eyeshadow, so that is why I chose Cleona Vermilion. We have another Cleona eyeshadow next, which is this one here in the corner. This one I chose for the categories a single eyeshadow that you think is underrated. And I chose another Cleona, like I said, and this is the shade Majesty. I absolutely love this eyeshadow. It is a beautiful kind of orangey shadow, but it has so much dimension to it. It does have that kind of orange shift obviously, but it goes into like a gold as well as a green shift, and it's so stunning. I absolutely love this one. And it does almost have like a little bit of bluish purple at the very end too. I think this is a very underrated eyeshadow. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one. This comes from the Vibrant line from Cliona, and I just think it's a beautiful, almost like neutral kind of leaning multichrome, but it still is quite bright, and obviously in the Vibrant multichrome range. But I just think this is a stunning eyeshadow, and again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. You can see I have quite a big dip in this one, and that's why I wanted to include it in my underrated eyeshadow. On the other side of the spectrum, we have the next eyeshadow, which is this one right here. This one is a single shadow not worth the hype, and I chose again another Cliona eyeshadow. This one is the shadow Statue Garden. I had this in my Project Armageddon, which is where I wanted to use this eyeshadow 10 times, and honestly, I didn't really like this eyeshadow that much. I hear a lot of people saying this is a beautiful eyeshadow that is like one of their favorites, but it's just too satiny for me. It does have a nice shift to it. It goes from like a pinky, kind of fuchsia purple shade to a, I don't know, almost orange shift, and then it has like a grayish, kind of greeny, turquoisey blue base. It's very unique. And if this one was more textured or more metallic, I would love this eyeshadow, but just because it's so satiny, I just don't reach for it very often. And because of that, I had to include this one in my eyeshadow not worth the hype. So the next question is the one where I have kind of cheated a little bit, I think, because I have chosen two eyeshadows. And that is a single shadow that best represents your favorite single brand. And I have chosen these two right here, so I'm going to talk about them. So first up, I'm going to talk about this one here, which is obviously from Cliona. I had to include a Cliona eyeshadow. I mean, you can see how many Cliona eyeshadows are in this palette. But this one right here is Bloodline, which I just feel like is one of the best eyeshadows from Cliona. It was from the original line. I could have chosen something from the new line or like the newest releases, but I decided not to because I feel like this one is an OG and I love this very much. The reason why I picked this one is because I think this one is kind of like what Cliona does best, which is multichromes that are very shifty, because this one has a lot of shifts in it, but it's still a little bit more wearable, I would say, than compared to other formulas, which are like very, very sparkly, or the shift is even more prominent. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying the shifts aren't prominent in Cliona, but they are a little bit more wearable, and you can see that in this eyeshadow. It's very, very beautiful. It has like, it's so hard to describe. It has like a plummy kind of base almost, and it has like goldeny kind of champagne-ness to it, and then it goes into like a green, a blue, a purple, a pink shift, and it's so stunning. I love this eyeshadow very much, and I think it's one of the best ones that Cliona does, and that's why I chose this one for the eyeshadow to represent the brand. The other eyeshadow brand that I had to pick was Terra Moons, and I decided to go with this one here, which is this eyeshadow Stellar Apotheosis. I can never say that word very easily, but this eyeshadow here is such a unique one, such a beautiful one, and the reason why I picked this one was because I feel like this kind of summarized the texture and what I love from Terra Moons. This is not my favorite eyeshadow by any means from them, but I just feel like this is kind of what they do a lot. They have a lot of beautiful kind of pinky, purpley eyeshadow. This one is like a bluey, purpley pink shadow with also like a very strong green shift. That is the main reason like why I chose this specific color. Also, this is a very shifty eyeshadow, which I find Terra Moons to be. And furthermore, it's so sparkly, so textured, and so metallic, and I feel like that's why I love Terra Moons so much. It's just because of the formula of the eyeshadows, and this one has like the flaky kind of formula, but it's the good flaky formula. So that's why I chose this eyeshadow, and it is such a unique one, such a beautiful one, and I should reach for this one way more. So for question number 7, we have a single eyeshadow that you grew to like, and I chose this eyeshadow right here, which is Bayer Hollow from the Glam Shop. This one, the reason why I decided to add it in as this kind of category is because I do really love this eyeshadow now. I had a really hard time reaching for this one. It's another one that I had in my Armageddon project pan, so I reached for it 10 times, and I feel like the reason why I didn't like it at first was because it's such a thick formula, and it kind of goes very, very silvery gray, as you can see, and I don't necessarily like it that way because I don't reach for those kind of tones very often. However, sheared out, I love this one as a topper. You have to be very gentle with it because it picks up quite a lot when you do use it, but I do feel like as a topper I absolutely love it. It just gives a little bit of like holographic kind of sparkle to your look, and it's so pretty, and I have really fallen in love with it that way. I would say that this eyeshadow, it still kind of makes you look a bit more cool tone because it is a silver. However, I have definitely grown to like it a bit more as a topper compared to how I liked it before. The next eyeshadow is the one that was the hardest to pick, and that is for the question, a single eyeshadow that you would gift to your worst enemy. And I decided to go with this eyeshadow right here, which is from the Pastel Roses, and it's the shade Moon. This eyeshadow, it's not bad. This one isn't the most shifty or shiny or anything like that, and that's kind of why I chose this specific one from the Pastel Roses. However, the main reason why I picked this one is because my single eyeshadows from Pastel Roses, they do smell. I don't think it's them going off necessarily, because they already, like, this is relatively new. I got this one for around Black Friday, so I got this in November, so it's not very old, but it already smells, and I think it might have done that when I got it too. But they just have a really strange scent to it, and it kind of just throws me off when I open my singles palette sometimes, and I know it's my Pastel Roses eyeshadows that smell. So that's kind of why I would gift them to my worst enemy. I mean, I don't think I would gift any of my single eyeshadows to my worst enemy, to be honest, because I love all my single eyeshadows. Although I might do a small declutter at some point, and this one honestly might go, because not because of the smell, but because of the it's quite underwhelming to me. But yeah, I think that's why. I don't think it's a bad eyeshadow, but it does kind of make me, it gives me a headache almost, like the smell. It's so weird, but because of that I had to choose this one to gift to my worst enemy. So we have 2 more eyeshadows to go, and the next one is for the question, a single shadow that you would pay double for. And I decided to go with this one here, which is from Terra Moons again, and this is the shade Axis. Before I talk about this eyeshadow, I would basically chosen this one here. These two are in the same price classes, and obviously this is my most favorite eyeshadow at the moment, but this one here is in the same price. I think it's $8 or $7, something like that. And I just think they're so sparkly. You can see the swatch, like, they're so sparkly, so dimensional. It's very shifty too. I think this is classified as a duochrome, but the shift is, it definitely has more shift than just 2. It does have this really kind of interesting kind of like reddish orange base, and then it has loads of sparkles to it. Like, it's almost like a blue, very scattered sparkle, and then it goes into this purpley pink at the very end, and it's just so dimensional and beautiful. So I had to choose this one. I don't know if I mentioned already, but this is the shade Axis from Terra Moons. And I would easily pay $16 for this, or $14, or whatever the double would be. I can't remember again if it's 7 or 8. But yeah, I absolutely think these are so nice. And not all of the duochromes are the same, but both this one and Starburst, which I mentioned before, are like that. I also love the shade Half Moon from that range, so I would pay double for all of those. Then lastly, we have another question that was very hard to answer, and that is for a single shadow that best represents you. And I had to go with this one right here, which is again from Cleona, and this is the eyeshadow Corrosion. I chose this one because I think it's such a beautiful eyeshadow. I love these kind of bronzy greens, but the reason why I chose this one to represent me, not just because of something that I like or love, is because I think this one is like a kind of elevated neutral kind of shadow, and I think that kind of sums me up, because I, not just with my makeup looks, because I can go for crazy makeup looks. I mean, I own all of these and I do wear all of these, so I do go for really bright looks. However, this one, as you can see in the shift, it does have like a beautiful kind of bronzy base, and then it goes into this really vibrant green, not vibrant, but it's like a really beautiful green shift, and it also has like some sort of cool tone at the very end, and it's very unique. And I feel like that is again me. I think I am kind of like, I am a bit more everyday, I would say. I'm not too artsy, I'm not too out there with my outfits, things like that, but I still think I do think I have a little bit more to me. I think I'm a bit more, you know, more than just plain old neutral, if that makes sense. So that's why I chose this one. And I think, you know, the sparkle in here is, I need to have something super sparkly because I'm very bubbly as a person, and I feel like the sparkle kind of represents that. And I don't know, I just feel like this is me in an eyeshadow, and also I do love these tones, which helped, but that is why I chose Clona Corrosion. So that, you guys, was all of the questions in the single eyeshadow tag. Again, thank you so much for Cassie from My Makeup Journey over Instagram for creating this tag. I have loved watching other people do this video and read people's posts on Instagram about them. And yeah, it's just been very fun, and it was very fun to pick these out for me. It was very difficult, not gonna lie, very difficult to pick these out, but I'm still very happy with my choices, and I think I did a pretty good job choosing the eyeshadows. But that is it for today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I will have a video up in a couple of days again, and until then I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.